Some of the most intelligent people don't actually look intelligent at all, and that's what makes this uncomfortable, because while others speak quickly and appear confident, highly intelligent people often pause, they hesitate, they observe, and sometimes they even question their own thoughts before speaking. To many people, this can look like uncertainty or even overthinking, but psychology suggests something very different is happening beneath the surface. Welcome to Intella. If you're interested in intelligent psychology, philosophy, science, economics, and history, you're in the right place. Consider subscribing, and if you enjoy this video, feel free to like and share your thoughts in the comments. Now, let's begin. Intelligence rarely appears the way we expect. We often associate intelligence with fast answers and strong opinions, but highly intelligent minds tend to slow down before responding. They quietly analyze situations, notice subtle details, and think through possible outcomes while others are already speaking. And if you've ever found yourself mentally rehearsing conversations before they happen, thinking about how someone might respond, or carefully choosing your words before speaking, there's a reason for that. Habit 1 is that highly intelligent individuals simulate conversations before they even happen. Not casually, but in detail, imagining reactions, tone changes, emotional responses, and even possible misunderstandings. To most people, this looks like overthinking, sometimes even anxiety. But psychology suggests this is predictive cognition, the brain modeling multiple possible futures before reality unfolds. In simple terms, highly intelligent minds don't just experience conversations, they pre-experience them. Before speaking, they might think, what if I phrase this differently? What reaction might this create? What might they assume? And without realizing it, they're running multiple versions of reality inside their mind. While others rely on instinct, analytical minds often rely on internal simulations. And although this makes them appear quiet or thoughtful on the outside, internally, their mind is moving rapidly. They may look slower externally, but mentally, they're often thinking faster than everyone else. This ability helps them avoid unnecessary conflict, predict emotional reactions, and navigate complex social situations more smoothly. Over time, this creates a quiet advantage most people don't even notice. Because intelligence at its highest level isn't always visible. Sometimes, it's simply happening silently before a single word is spoken, and this is only the beginning, because habit 2 is even more misunderstood, and it often makes highly intelligent people appear uncertain, when in reality, it's one of the strongest signs of deep intelligence. Why do some people refuse to form opinions quickly, even when everyone else seems confident? Why do certain individuals pause, hesitate, and say, "I'm not sure yet," while others immediately jump to conclusions? At first glance, this behavior can look like indecision or even lack of confidence. But psychology suggests something far more surprising. Habit 2 is that highly intelligent people delay judgment longer than most people. Not because they don't understand, but because they understand that reality is more complex than it first appears. While many people feel uncomfortable with uncertainty, analytical minds tolerate it. They gather more information, consider alternative explanations, and quietly evaluate possibilities before deciding what to believe. This creates an interesting contrast, because fast answers often appear confident, but slow thinking is often more accurate. Psychology explains this through two thinking styles: fast thinking and slow thinking. Fast thinking is automatic, emotional, and quick. It helps us make decisions instantly, but it also increases mistakes. Slow thinking is analytical, deliberate, and reflective. Highly intelligent individuals naturally rely more on this deeper form of thinking. This is why thoughtful individuals often say things like, "I need to think about that," or "there might be more to this," even when everyone else has already made up their mind. Internally, their mind is exploring second-order effects, asking what happens next, and then what happens after that. They're not just evaluating immediate outcomes, they're thinking about long-term consequences. Over time, this creates a subtle advantage. Quick thinkers may appear decisive, but deep thinkers often make fewer mistakes. They may look uncertain in the moment, but their decisions tend to age better. But this habit also creates another unusual behavior, because when someone constantly evaluates ideas more deeply than others, they sometimes become quiet during predictable conversations. And that leads directly to habit 3. Have you ever noticed that some people become unusually quiet during normal conversations, not because they're shy, but because they seem mentally somewhere else? Why do certain individuals appear disengaged during small talk, yet become deeply focused when conversations turn meaningful? Habit 3 is that highly intelligent minds often become mentally bored in predictable conversations. Intelligent minds naturally seek complexity. They look for patterns, deeper meaning, and new ideas. When conversations become repetitive or surface level, their brain receives less stimulation. This doesn't mean they think they're better than others. Their mind is simply wired to search for novelty and depth. 2. While others participate casually, analytical minds may be noticing subtle behaviors, analyzing tone shifts, or connecting ideas across different topics. In other words, while others are participating in the conversation, they're often studying it. Psychologically, this connects to stronger pattern recognition. When someone processes information quickly, repetitive ideas become predictable, and when the brain predicts what comes next too easily, it begins searching elsewhere for stimulation. This is why reflective thinkers often enjoy deep discussions, abstract ideas, or thought-provoking questions more than small talk. Their mind naturally gravitates toward complexity. They may appear quiet externally, but internally, their mind is extremely active. And over time, this creates another unusual behavior. Because when someone constantly analyzes conversations in real time, they often continue analyzing them even after they end. Hours later, sometimes even days later, they replay interactions in their mind, searching for patterns and meanings. And this leads directly to habit 4, one of the most misunderstood signs of deep intelligence. Why do some people replay conversations hours later, sometimes even days after they've ended? Why do certain individuals suddenly remember something they said and begin analyzing tone and reactions long after the moment has passed? Habit 4 is that highly intelligent people mentally replay conversations to refine their understanding of reality. They don't just experience interactions, they study them afterward. They revisit details, analyze responses, and quietly examine what was said and what wasn't. This process is known as metacognition, thinking about thinking. While most people move on, reflective minds continue processing. They ask themselves, did I miss something? What did that pause mean? Could I have phrased that differently? And without realizing it, they're improving their internal model of human behavior. This often happens automatically. When something feels incomplete or ambiguous, analytical minds naturally revisit it. This isn't weakness, it's cognitive refinement. The brain is improving its understanding of reality by analyzing past experiences, but there's also a hidden cost. Constant analysis can create mental distance. They notice subtleties others overlook, tone shifts, inconsistencies, and unspoken signals. Over time, this deeper perception can create a quiet sense of difference, like seeing layers others don't notice. Point 3, and this leads directly to habit 5, because when someone consistently sees patterns and analyzes interactions, they often begin to feel subtly out of sync with others. Why do some people feel mentally out of sync with others, even in familiar environments? Why do certain individuals sometimes feel different, not because of personality, but because of how they think? Habit 5 is that highly intelligent people often feel mentally different from the crowd. They naturally detect inconsistencies, contradictions, and hidden patterns that most people overlook. While others accept ideas at face value, analytical minds quietly question them, asking why things work the way they do. This can make everyday situations feel unusual. Conversations may seem predictable. Social patterns may appear repetitive, and sometimes they may find themselves thinking several steps ahead while others remain focused on the present. This difference in cognitive pacing can create a subtle sense of isolation, not because they want distance, but because their mind naturally moves in a different direction. They may enjoy solitude, not because they dislike people, but because solitude allows uninterrupted thinking. In quiet moments, their mind becomes most active, but this difference also creates a hidden advantage. Over time, they develop deeper understanding, stronger pattern recognition, and better insight into human behavior. And when you step back and look at all 5 habits together, a surprising pattern emerges. Extremely high intelligence rarely appears as loud confidence. Instead, it appears as quiet observation, delayed judgment, mental simulation, reflective thinking, and a subtle feeling of being mentally different. Because intelligence at its highest level isn't about thinking faster, it's about thinking deeper. And the most fascinating part is, the strongest signs of intelligence often happen silently. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to Intella for more insights on intelligence, psychology, philosophy, science, economics, and history. Let me know in the comments which part interested you the most. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.